should you just get rid of Moldavite? Should you just take it off? It's not worth it. The fear, the pain, the negative, I can't even do it with this, negative experiences that you go through, are any of those worth it? Should you just take it off and get rid of this demonic crystal or tektite? Well, in this video I'm going to be answering that question, and because it's something that comes up a lot. And to start off, I want to share a story that comes from one of my subscribers, someone that I was talking to on an Instagram live stream. You can follow me over there on Instagram at universalcrystals1111, because sometimes I go live and talk to people. And when I was talking to this person yesterday, they brought up the fact that they got rid of their Moldavite because of all the things that were happening to them. And one of the particular things that happened to them was they got in this car accident that was really bad. And they went through some breakups, they had some things come up, and they just couldn't deal with it anymore. So they ended up burying it at this spot where they know it is, and they said they might come back to it. But this isn't the only person who's had this same type of thing happen, where it seems like Moldavite's too much. And what I want to let you know is that Moldavite's not going to solve all your problems. You have to work with it. A lot of people have this misconception that they get Moldavite and their life's going to be fixed. But you have to work with it, and you have to realize that some of the things that you might perceive as negative are actually good things for you. For instance, I actually went through a very similar experience to this person, where not long after getting my Moldavite, I got in this car accident, and it wasn't nearly as bad as theirs, but I got rear-ended, and I was at a stoplight. It was yellow. I probably could have gone, but I hesitated. I didn't go, and I got rear-ended. And I had to call the cops. I'm not normally the type of person to call the cops, but in that situation I had to. And when I called them, I noticed that it was exactly 4:44. And so sometimes it seems like a bad experience, like, oh, I got in a car accident, this is awful. But the universe will give you that sign that it's actually a good thing for you. And then I ended up going through a breakup with my girlfriend not long after that, also similar to this person. And yeah, that seemed bad at the time. It's not something I wanted to happen, but deep down I knew it was something that needed to happen for me. So when it comes to Moldavite and whether you should get rid of it and just take it off, realize that it's only highlighting things that you're going to have to deal with either way. It doesn't necessarily bring all of these negative experiences into your life. It just highlights those, and it makes you more aware of them so that you can clear those things that you're dealing with sooner. So if you want to accelerate your awakening, accelerate the process of healing, then Moldavite's a great thing for you. But if you would like to have to come back to those things a lot long after, then get rid of it. But no one ever told you it was going to be easy. Life is a lot like dealing with Moldavite. There's ups and downs. There's times where you feel amazing with Moldavite. There's times where you feel bad. But for a lot of people, they connect to this high frequency, this high vibration, which is Moldavite, and they're hit with all these fears, and they're hit with all the things that they don't want to deal with, the things that they've been hiding from and running from. And that's a painful process, and for that reason is exactly why you should keep the Moldavite on and why you shouldn't get rid of it. Because unless you want to just go through your life continuing to run from the things that are holding you back, there's no reason to get rid of it. It attacks those areas that you need to focus on, and it does a really tremendous job of that. And so many people have the same experience, and I've talked to so many people, so I know it seems crazy. It seems like something that wouldn't actually affect you, just getting a little rock. Oh wow, my life is going to change because I got a rock. Like, how ridiculous does that sound? I get it, but when you've had this many people tell you similar stories, you kind of know it's real. Moldavite power is real. and you should keep it on. You shouldn't get rid of it unless you want to have to deal with these things later on. And who's to say that these experiences that happen to you when you get Moldavite wouldn't have happened later, or wouldn't have happened anyway? You know, who's to say they wouldn't have happened either way? It just normally highlights and accelerates those things to help you. You know, things aren't happening to you, they're happening for you. And if you can realize that, and if you work with it, you're gonna be able to overcome it much faster than if you push against it and you resist it and you run from it. That's when people normally have those problems, is because they've been running from something for so long. They get Moldavite, it gets thrown right in their face, and they decide, I'm going to continue to run from this. It's Moldavite's fault. It's Moldavite's fault that this happened. Is it Moldavite's fault? Or is it just revealing things about yourself that you were too scared to unconscious thoughts, things that you had buried deep in your subconscious that are just being brought to the surface? You know, you are the most powerful crystal in the world. Moldavite's the most powerful physical, tektite crystal, in my opinion. But you really are the most powerful crystal in the world. And then when you work with the other most powerful crystal in the world, magical things can happen. And you realize that your imagination and magic is actually real. Magic is just science undiscovered. So for anybody who's thinking about getting rid of their Moldavite and feels like it's too much for them, just know that it is doing it for your highest good. When you got it, you probably knew what you were getting into if you watched videos about it before. This shouldn't be a surprise to you. But those who can push through it, those who can actually work with the Moldavite, see the benefits. You know, you see the things that are going on in your life that are out of alignment, that you don't want to be a part of anymore. You know, I was living a sort of life and being a sort of person that I hated. It was hard to look at that. Sometimes it's hard to look at yourself and realize that you're doing things in a way that is misaligned. You're doing things that you're not necessarily proud of. I wasn't proud of the person I was becoming. And so if I didn't get Moldavite, I probably would have had to deal with those things later on anyway. It just accelerated that process, and it made me face those fears. So if you're willing to face your fears and you're willing to stick it out, keeping the Moldavite on, not getting rid of it, you will see the benefits. I promise you, it will help you. That's why so many people love Moldavite. It's not like we would all get this just to experience a bunch of pain and get no results out of it, you know? And it might take longer for some people. Some people might have more things that they need to uncover than others, which is why it might be so painful that they feel like they need to take it off or get rid of it. So I'm not trying to downplay it. I'm not trying to say these experiences aren't real, that they're not actually difficult to deal with. They are. But that's why you need to deal with them. Just like anything else in life, you have to get over your biggest fears to free them, you know? Do the thing you fear most, and the death of fear is certain. Do the thing you fear most, and the death of fear is certain. And Moldavite many times makes you do that thing that you fear most. It doesn't make you. You're still in control. It's not like it has all the power, but it can really make that process so accelerated and so fast that it seems like you're never going to be able to deal with it unless you get rid of it. But then when a lot of people get rid of it, they actually end up having to deal with those problems anyway. It doesn't actually go away. It's not like you get rid of it and everything is just solved. Those are just things that were always there. It's just highlighting things that were always there, and you're still going to have to deal with them. So just ask yourself, would you rather deal with this faster, or do you want to let it linger for years and years because you are continuing to run from the reason that you even got Moldavite in the first place? A lot of people get it in the first place to try and fix their life, you know, thinking Moldavite's just going to fix it for me. Everything's going to work out just fine. but you have to work with it. You have to actually put some of these things into practice. You have to meditate with it. You have to hold it. You have to, you know, face the fears that it brings up. It's not going to just go away whether you have the Moldavite or not. And you don't need Moldavite to get over these things. It just makes it a little bit easier to see them because it puts it right in your face. And man, it is a freaking crazy thing. But guys, I'm doing a free Moldavite giveaway. I'm going to be giving away a piece of Moldavite. I don't know exactly what it's going to look like yet, but you can click the link in the pinned comment and the description, put in your information, and you'll be entered into the giveaway for a free Moldavite because it's getting more and more expensive since there's a limited amount on the planet. It's so rare, which makes it even more insane. But as we know, it comes from a meteorite from out of this world, so there's only a finite amount currently on the planet that we can get, and so the price is always raising. So I think it would be nice for me to give out a free Moldavite. I'll probably do more of these, but if you want to be entered into that giveaway, go ahead, click the link in the description and the pinned comment. I'm not sure when it's going to end, but I'll probably do a few more Moldavite videos and have that link, and then somebody will win. But don't let yourself forget. Just go ahead and do it now. And if you want to watch all of my other Moldavite videos, I'm going to have the playlist for all my Moldavite videos popping up on the screen. And as always, I love you all. Universal crystals forever.